Welcome to Digital Nation, your weekly roundup of the best output from the 20 local TV stations across the country. And whether it's historical texts or the next high street fashion, we bring you the local news and stories you just don't see anywhere else. In this show, we've got an octogenarian world champion in Norwich and a pumpkin as big as a small car in South Hampton. We discover how tiny rare birds are nesting in Nottingham and meet a singer-songwriter called Lauren Bird, whose career is definitely flying high. Up first, we travel to Norwich to meet sportswoman Connie Adam. She's managed to bag over 100 medals in her beloved sport of fencing. There's no sign of her hanging up her sword just yet.
It's the delicate footwork and silent swordplay that's led to international success, including winning more than 100 medals over 3 decades of fencing. But this is no ordinary competitor, as Connie Adam is aged 87 and only took up the sport when she retired.
I needed to find something to do to keep me active, and I saw that Norwich City Council were running a come and try. So I went along to Duke Street and I thought I'll try archery and I'll have a go at fencing and I'll see what I like doing. I found fencing was fantastic. I liked that the best and I could do it easy.
Connie competes in the Veteran World Championships in both solo and team events using the épée and the sabre. The competitions have taken her round the world, from America to Italy to South Africa. And her next stop is Limoges in France, where she'll defend her national title.
At this age, I didn't expect to be doing it. Every year I think that'll be the last. Every year I tell myself that's going to be the last. But then I come back with a medal and I think, well, perhaps just once more. So I don't know how many once mores there got to be, but there might be some.
Success doesn't come without practice, though, so it's time to prepare for yet another competition and another chance to have a stab at the opposition.
Over now to Durham, as Made in Tyne and Wear add a touch of star-studded transatlantic glamour to this week's show, with a review of New York Fashion Week.
I am back with the fantastic fashion editor, Pixie Tenenbaum, and you've just come back from New York Fashion Week.
That's right, yes.
How exciting. Tell us all about it, tell us all about it.
It's been amazing. The season that we're looking at now is spring-summer for 2016.
Right.
So the big shift is in textures and colours. What we've just seen in New York Fashion Week is columns, lots of column dresses, lots and lots of white. Victoria Beckham, Prabal Gurung, everybody's showing white. Splashes of colour here and there rather than the block colour we've been used to seeing over the last few seasons.
Was there any mishaps on the runway?
Oh, yes. Givenchy, Candice Swain-Paul. See, even supers can stack it.
She's fantastic, I know.
She styled it out.
Did she? Was it a proper face plant though?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There were front rowers up to help us straight away.
So what we're looking for this autumn winter, because that was the next one, wasn't it?
Yes.
What is up and coming for this autumn winter?
For this season, it's heavier fabric, so lots and lots of suede with tassels everywhere, velvet, patchwork denim, darker denim as well, not that faded denim that we've seen through spring.
So I'm looking for tassels and patchwork denim.
We head to Brum now to uncover one of the oldest Quran texts ever discovered. This Islamic religious manuscript is 1,300 years old and is available for all to view at Birmingham University.
This is one of the oldest fragments of the Quran ever to be discovered. Researchers conclude that the Quran manuscript is amongst the earliest written textual evidence of the Islamic holy book known to survive. The manuscript is part of the university's Mingana collection of Middle Eastern manuscripts held in the Cadbury Research Library, and it's this remarkable document that brings global significance to the Muslim heritage and study of Islam.
The research that has been carried out now shows that it dates to the 1st century of Islam or the mid-7th century, and this research focused on both the analysis of the writing style, so the writing on the parchment leaves, as well as the radiocarbon dating. And the radiocarbon dating dated the manuscript to the period between 568 to 645 according to the Christian calendar, so very close to the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad.
And how long was this Quran in the university for before you discovered it?
Well, we not really discovered it. We always have known about the manuscript, but over the past 5 years, more research has been done, and subsequently we have changed our views on how old it is.
The Quran has been dated by experts as being 1300 years old and is written on parchment, which is said to be from goat's or sheep's skin. An exhibition will now be taking place here at the University of Birmingham, which is open for anybody to come in to see the global treasure.
We are really excited and really proud to have such an important document here in Birmingham. It not only helps us with our research, but also for the local community and our links with the local community. It's an important find. A lot of people were very enthusiastic. I was called up by several of my Muslim friends, and they were so proud that this important document is in Birmingham. We have started working closely with local mosques and other Muslim community groups in Birmingham, and we invite everyone to come to the exhibition and see for themselves with their own eyes.
If we don't train more civil engineers, there's a possibility the UK will be left behind in something we used to be famous for. So in this next clip, we head to Liverpool to hear about an initiative helping to build the next generation.
When schools visit Catalyst, they get to use a kit which enables pupils to build the bridge, walk across it and deconstruct it, all the time learning about civil engineering skills and principles as working as part of a team. The Institute of Civil Engineers says the UK needs thousands more people to get involved in this line of work to help build the infrastructure of the future. And it's not just bridges, it's roads and tunnels and railways. But this type of activity gives young people a real insight of what it's like to work in this flourishing industry.
We wanted to give them an opportunity to try something that you definitely can't do at school, and building this enormous bridge kit is a perfect example of that kind of activity. There are all kinds of future jobs that require skills that you get from studying STEM subjects, and lots of those areas are struggling to recruit people. So I think it's really important to get as many children interested in science and technology and engineering as possible.
What is your job role here today then?
I'm a cleater, and I've just got to connect these cables here to them there, and I had to unscrew it and then bolt it on to make it be stable and keep the bridge up.
Do you think that this is something that children should get involved in then?
Yeah.
In future, there just aren't going to be enough people doing engineering jobs. And, you know, there's no reason why people can't train to be engineers in this country. And another really important point is that girls can do this just as well as boys. So as many young girls and young boys as we can get interested will hopefully then help in future.
35 years is a long time in the life of a pumpkin grower. But in South Hampton, the stars of the annual Pumpkin and Scarecrow Festival are back for another go. The winners have been announced, and trust me, these veggies are vast.
At this pumpkin weigh-in, careful handling is essential. This giant vegetable is competing at Netley's annual Pumpkin and Scarecrow Festival. Tension fills the air as the pumpkin gently manoeuvres onto the scales. There's a bit of a squash as spectators jostle for a view. This one's netted first place and a nifty £500 prize.
Cinderella, eat your heart out. This pumpkin could certainly be turned into a horse-drawn carriage. This one hasn't quite beaten the world record, but the owners are chuffed nonetheless.
Growers Stuart and Ian explain their delicate operation.
Well, we sowed the seed for this in about April, early April. It takes about 3 months or 100 days-ish to grow a plant ready to grow a pumpkin of this size. And then it just takes an unbelievable, only 107 days old this pumpkin is from being that big. So it's only 107 days old. Yeah, well, this one was growing £36 a day for 2 weeks. We had 2 others that were growing £48 a day for 2 weeks. We lost those, unfortunately. But when you see them growing that fast, you get quite interested in it.
The twins spend their whole lives nurturing pumpkins. They already hold the British record. The world record is firmly in their sights.
Yeah, well, we need the world record, really. That's what we've been trying for 35 years. We've been close to it a couple of times. Every time we get close, it goes a little bit further away. But we're getting there slowly. And we are going to get the world record. You can have that on camera.
Mark has come all the way from Wales. His handsome produce has been awarded the best looking.
Well, I mean, every year, you get obviously different colours, and this one has just turned orange quite nicely this year, and obviously they've decided it's the best looking one at the show today, so it's taken some lifting. We've had to borrow a lot of equipment. I got a lifting gear and a bit of scaffolding that we put up, and between me and my wife, we managed to lift it onto a pallet, borrowed a pallet trolley and pulled it out with that, and then I borrowed a forklift truck and managed to load it into a van, and that's how I got it down here.
One thing's for sure, these pumpkins are going down a trick or treat.
That's it for part 1. But before we go, it's quiz time. In which city did Sir Roger Bannister make history by breaking the sub-4-minute mile barrier? Is it A, Glasgow, B, Liverpool, or C, Oxford? Join us after the break for the answer. Do you love local? Then let us know what you think by using the hashtag #DigitalNation. Welcome back to Digital Nation. Before the break, we asked you, in which city did Sir Roger Bannister make history by breaking the sub-4-minute mile barrier? And the answer is C, Oxford. At Oxford's Iffley Road Sports Ground in 1954, Sir Roger Bannister was just 25 years old, and he completed the race in 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds. Let's take a peek inside the radiant Royal Lyceum Theatre in Edinburgh for its 50th anniversary and meet the dynamic director and the celebrity cast who bring it to life.
Well, it is a beautiful chocolate box with its gorgeous chandelier and its beauty. What I often say to actors and artists and audiences who come here is it's particularly well looked after because it's, for the last 50 years, it's had a company living in it who takes care of it in a particular way. It's not purely driven by commercial concern. The spirit of that endeavour kind of encapsulates, I think, a lot of what makes the Lyceum special. Something that wants to be intensely local, connect with its own people, but at the same time that is outward-looking and that wants to celebrate the best of what's happening in world theatre. I feel very proud of the 50th season we've put together, that I've got Bill Patterson and Brian Cox on the main stage doing an incredibly tricky and wonderful play.
I started here 50 years ago, yeah. It was weird. Exactly this time, you know, and almost to the day of opening. God, it was the day we opened 7 to 12 Maesters. I think we opened it a wee bit later, but not much.
I saw that production that Brian was in 1965 on a freebie, but of course I didn't know. I thought this guy was 42 on stage. You know, he looked so mature. I had no idea he was a younger man than I was. Well done, Brian.
Thank you.
Looking good after all these years.
That. Thank you, Will.
This is such a dynamic space, and you can create incredible classic, epic theatre works in a way that's unique for that size of theatre. You retain the warmth of humanity on that stage for the audience, and that's what's special about it.
There's an exciting new development in Nottinghamshire, designed to get first-timers on the property ladder. With 150 new homes situated near a delightful riverbank, if your name is Martin, this one is for you.
This
building is the only one of its kind in the country. It combines a sand martin hide with an artificial roosting bank with 150 nests. It was an idea by assistant manager Tim Sexton, who's staggered by the amount of chicks fledged this year compared to the 7 raised when it was built last spring.
This year, those numbers have skyrocketed. Word has got around that it's a des-res for sand martins, and from early April this year, the birds started moving in. We had visitors saying to us they were like swarms of bees in front of the hide, the birds going in and out of the nesting tunnels. And in all this year, we've had 182 chicks raised from 48 of the nests. The sand martin's a fantastic bird. It's a tiny hirundine, so a relative of the swallows and the house martins that people may be more familiar with. It only weighs about the same as a £2 coin, yet it's capable of making an incredible journey each year to and from sub-Saharan Africa. In a natural nesting environment, you just couldn't get access to a sand martin nest because they excavate their own tunnels into the sandy bank about 1 metre in length. Whereas here we've got access to all of the 150 nesting chambers. From the moment the first twig is brought in to the moment the last chick fledges, we can monitor every stage of their development.
The sand martins are due back in March next year. Until then, staff are doing a spot of housekeeping on the nest by filling them with sand. But the hide is still open for visitors to come down and birdwatch.
A famous mother has been training the next generation of tennis stars recently with a new sports programme in Scotland. Judy Murray has taken to the high roads and low roads of Glasgow to unearth the next Great British Wimbledon winner.
My name is Chris Suter. I'm the lead coach for the Tennis on the Road programme. What we are doing today is taking a parent and child session for the parents and children of Denniston area in Glasgow. We're essentially showing the parents how to play with their children to develop the skills to then go on to play tennis.
It's like people coming here and teaching us how to play tennis. It's fun, it makes you healthy.
But everything that we're doing is about building the basic skills, so throwing and catching. So everything that we're doing is about controlling and containing within a small space. The Tennis on Road, the main objective is we're training a workforce, so we're actually looking to develop the skills of adults, how to deliver tennis at all sorts of levels. Here is very much starter level, but we can go all the way up to kind of performance level. We've got Judy Murray, who obviously is famous for her dancing exploits and her tennis coaching exploits as well. And Judy is kind of heading up the programme, if you like, and travelling with me around Scotland to help and develop the workforce as well. If we could get more sponsorship, then we'd like to grow the programme so we can just increase the number of days, therefore increase the number of people we can reach.
So the web's favourite animal is definitely the cat. But my favourite is definitely the hedgehog. So imagine how upset I was to hear their numbers are in decline. Luckily, in Lancashire, there's a hero to the rescue.
Steve Worley fell into fostering these prickly individuals quite by accident many years ago. But now, after a local rescue centre closed, his house has been overrun with hedgehogs in his care.
If you say 4 hedgehogs consume the same as 1 dog per day, that gives you a little bit of indication of how much food we're going through.
A couple of decades ago, you may have seen wild hedgehogs wandering around, but numbers have fallen from 20 million to just under 1 million in that time. This one came to Steve with an injured back leg that she's had to have amputated. She'll now spend the rest of her life in captivity.
What we're trying to do is establish a trust where they can be released in areas that hopefully there's not going to be any development for a number of years. A bit like the Squirrel Trust, where you don't have them in suburbia anymore, but you have areas where there is a viable population. There are areas in Lancashire that 20 years ago were getting 100 hedgehogs a year. Over the past 7 years, we maybe had 5.
It's not just a united kingdom, it's a truly creative kingdom. And here's why.
When football comes home, it comes here. But what part of the country is its favourite armchair? Nottingham! Yes, mate, Notts has a habit of getting to the ball first. First local derby in the world, Forest versus County, 1866. First use of shin guards, Forest, 1874. First use of crossbars, Forest, 1875. First use of a ref's whistle, Forest, 1878. First use of goal nets, Forest, 1890. First £1 million transfer fee, Forest, 1979. First team to have their name picked out on seating, Forest, 1980. England's first official city of football, Nottingham, 2014. And what have Notts County ever done? Only be the oldest professional football club in the world, that's all. Proof once again that when it comes to creativity, innovation, and bulging the onion bag of history, in Notts Mint.
And that's nearly it for this week. But before we go, we take you to Belfast to meet up-and-coming musician Lauren Bird as we end this week's show with a song. Lauren, take it away.
I saw the light fade away. The darkness turned to black from grey, and it creeped in and it creeped out when there was nothing left to cry about. 'Cause in the dark's where I feel at home, when others seem to feel alone, I can live in my dreams, all my wildest fantasies. I can move far away with no bills, no place to stay, and feel fine with no place to hide, with no one there by my side. When I wake up, the day is new. I smell the smells, I see the views in the light. So I continue my routine. I get up, my teeth are clean, but every day is so mundane, so ritualistic and such a pain. But my mind, it's a sanctuary. When other nights it's such a tease, I close my eyes, but I can't sleep. I go over all the secrets that I keep. I wanna move far away with no bills, no place to stay, and feel fine with no place to hide, with no one there by my side. When I wake up, the day is new. I smell the smells, I see the same views in the light.
And that's it for another week. If you love local, like we love local, then you can check out all of the TV channels featured on tonight's show by visiting their on-demand services. Or you can watch previous episodes of the show at bbc.co.uk/Digital Nation. Join us next week for more Digital Nation.